So, do you remember? Actually, I do. I remember. I don't know if you remember when you told me you were going to get married.
Where's this going?
I was thinking about the implications, right? Like, what does it mean after you've gotten divorced and you were thinking about partnership and, you've got kids and you're co parenting and figuring out all of the other things?
I'm still a little bit suspicious, but I think that must be the topic for today. So we're talking about dating after divorce?
We're talking about dating after divorce.
Okay.
Yes.
Got it.
Challenges, benefits, perks, working through the whole thing, and how do you build something sustainable, I think, or at least start to build something sustainable with your co-parent.
Oh, yeah. And co-parenting when you're in them streets is something completely different. So we'll have to get into it and break it down.
Co-parents, professors. Co-parents, professors.
Welcome back, everybody. It's great to see you on another episode of the Parents and Professors podcast. I am Dr. Michael Stephen Williams, and I am joined by...
And Dr. Marjorie Dorimé-Williams. Welcome to all of our new listeners. Welcome to our returning listeners. Glad you can join. We have a pretty exciting couple of episodes coming up for you guys, and we're gonna get into it.
Yeah, it's a series that we think is important, both based on our real lived experiences, but also feedback that we've gotten over the years from all kinds of different spaces that we show up in. So today we're talking about love, relationships, and dating after divorce.
And I think before we get started, it's also important to recognize that we know everyone's experience is different, that this doesn't look the same depending on what your previous relationship was, depending on what you're looking forward to afterwards. But I think it's important to have these conversations, right? That this can be really messy. And I know for me, for example, like thinking about, oh my gosh, we're getting divorced and like, what does this mean? And how are people going to think about me? Like all of that came before even like the thought bubble of, oh, I might want to do this again.
And just a reminder, because I feel like we need disclaimers. Before we jump in, a reminder that this podcast is for educational and entertainment purposes only. The views expressed are our own, and our discussions are based on personal experiences, publicly available information, and general knowledge.
Absolutely. So I do wonder, because you obviously are remarried and I am very much not remarried. Did you have any thoughts about like, oh, okay, we're getting divorced. Like what comes next? What does this look like? What's the plan? Did you have a plan? I don't feel like you had a plan.
I mean, I think it's difficult. So you're derailing right off the rip.
Sorry.
Because now you're getting into, I think there's a difference in my perspective and your perspective.
Yes.
I never doubted my ability to be partnered ever because I am a man. And because a man who has children and who has demonstrated responsibility and care for those children is always going to have an opportunity to partner again. Like if I got divorced tomorrow again, and no, I love you, Donna. This is not anything that way. But if I got divorced again and I wished to be repartnered, I have 1,000% confidence that I could. I know way too many intelligent, beautiful, and like my preference is Black and Latino women, but like especially Black women. I know way too many unpartnered Black women that
I would be like, hey,
yeah, like I'm like, yo, like, hey, do you want to like not do that alone and like maybe do it together? And like, wow, it seems like you're smart and accomplished. What? You have a PhD? You're a lawyer. You haven't been finding love. There's a bunch of fuckboys in your life? Man, that's tough. Well, how about you come over here and get some of this loving, caring, patient, thoughtful. No, oh well. I mean, you know how my brain actually works.
Get some of this.
But I mean that too. So somebody who like I know that I am a person that as a partner, I don't ask for a whole lot. I'm a very simple man. Be nice to me, have sex with me. Don't make me feel like sex is always my idea, and we're probably gonna get along pretty well. Like I'm not a hard person to please. And so I know that I'm a very flexible partner. And if anything, what I didn't think about before, after divorce, it was never a question of would I be able to partner again? It was really, would I want to partner again? And like, what are the stakes? And how do I make sure that the commitments that I've already made as a co-parent and as a father can be honored in whatever the new relationship setup is?
So when you decided to get remarried, were you thinking about co-parenting in that equation?
Yeah. So I wouldn't be married. So one of the best things about my wife Donna Williams is a person who was adopted as a child.
Mhm.
So her ideas about like marriage and family and partnering and even like caring for somebody's children, like she was a child of somebody else that was cared for by another set of parents.
Mhm.
So there's a natural kind of flow in the way that she thinks about some of that stuff. And so
Ah,
I never had
okay.
to think like, oh, is she going to feel like, oh, I got to take care of somebody else's kids? Or, and I would have never married her if I had any concerns about her ability to be a good parent to my already existing children. And the prospect of, because I can also admit, I always imagined myself having 4 children. I got to 3. The 2 with you and the 1 with her. And I'm actually comfortable that she was like, I'm one and done. I don't need to be pregnant again. Like, I'm good with this. But if I had any doubts about her as a partner, as a parent, as somebody who could provide like care and support and be a good role model for my already extant children before I got married with her, I would have never taken her seriously as a partner. That's a non-starter for me. And I think that that's part of the problem that I feel like I had is I can recognize all those things and check all those boxes and be like, hey, this woman that I would like to marry fits in the ways that are really important to me. But that doesn't mean that I like plotted out the full web of things that would have to be thought about in terms of,
No.
and including and probably most importantly, my relationship with you.
Yeah.
So like if there's been a tension or like a consistent tension in my marriage that I've had to navigate or like figure out how to be patient around, but also thoughtful around, it was the fact that me and you remain close. And so a lot of people are not accustomed to, and in fact, we hear it all the time. And like people are always suspicious. So like oh, you guys seem to have a whole lot of fun together, or like you get along really well. Like, yo, I actually married my best friend. We had a breach of contract that
I
made
like
me
that.
feel like we no longer needed to be married.
Okay.
And because we put our children at the center, and because part of our friendship that really is valuable and important is the fact that we're really aligned on things in ways that other people wouldn't necessarily be. So like people lie all the time, like, oh, my partner's my best friend. No, it's not. Like we ran fantasy teams together.
Like y'all are cool,
Yeah.
but you're not best friends.
But like, yeah, like we run our fantasy football team together. We like the same anime. We would go to similar conferences. We're
playing video games together.
Yeah, we're playing video games together. Or if we're not, you're sitting playing The Sims and I'm playing Call of Duty and you're asking me about it and I'm asking you about it. Like there's a different level of connection that I think people are operating with and what their expectations are. And so to me, I think part of the difficulty of getting divorced, and if I had to look around the corner, there's a certain myopia that comes when you're navigating the really big feelings. Like, hey, you really hurt me. I would like a divorce. That isn't giving you the emotional bandwidth to take a step back and be like, all right, well, if I get a divorce, do we still get to watch anime? Are you still gonna go to Marvel movies with me? Like,
Yeah.
like how much of the friendship is actually gonna be there, and how much of that is valuable or something that you want to hold on to? And I think if there's one way that our relationship is markedly different from a lot of people's relationship when they're going through divorce, or even in like the post-divorce, because we've been divorced for like what, 6 years now, something like that.
6, 7.
Oh, Jesus.
Sorry, I couldn't.
Fucking middle schooler. But like, I think that one of the hurdles that you don't really think about is, and that I can admit has been a difficulty for me, and that I've had to call on a great deal of patience from my wife, is that at the time that we were getting divorced, my brain was like, FDB. Like I don't like
I was like, wait.
Yeah, it's like fool. Yeah, like I don't need to see her ever again. And then
Yeah.
it'd be like, all right. Then it's slowly like, all right, well, like I still want you to be in my life and take good care of my kids. And I think that us both being Black parents together really matters. And then and like we could like watch anime and hang out and like have a drink from time to time. I was like, and like maybe we should run our business together, and maybe you should co-run my research team, even though we're getting divorced, right? So there are ways that we were intertwined that I couldn't see
In when we were getting
that,
divorced.
that I would want to preserve, or I would at least want to be able to figure out. And I think that that's one of the ways that, like the pain of the whatever the major disruption that makes you feel like you want to get a divorce, it doesn't give you the ability to like really step back and be like, all right, well, what does this really mean? Like if we are just changing our legal status, because I also, and this is a side, and we could come back to this, maybe this is the episode for it or not, But like, I believe that monogamy is bullshit to begin with. And so like, that's a completely different thing.
Okay.
I think that it might be the right structure to raise a family in. And I think that the US legal system is set up such that it makes sense if you wish to have a family and you wish to procreate and have children for you to have the protections of marriage. But beyond that, a lot of marriage in and of itself is setting you up to fail.
Okay, wait. I want to come back to that, but I think so. There are two things. One, you talked about what this meant for us as Black parents, and I feel like for me, that identity of Black woman was so central to how I was thinking about everything. Because for you, it was, oh, well, I'm a dude and I'm a Black man with a degree. I can
Multiple.
trip and
PhD, master's, bachelor's,
thank you, Michael.
and I'm cute.
I mean, I did marry you, so
I mean, because you're a good decision maker.
Thank you.
But like,
but I do think that, you know, on the other side of it, for me, it was very much about, you know, we've talked about this, right? Like, what is the perception? What do people think? What does this look like?
yeah,
How are we
because I
perceived?
mean, you look like a welfare queen.
It's right. I'm
Yeah,
a single
like-
Black mom with 2 kids. I mean, even part of the decision in keeping my name was that connection to the kids, right? That it is very explicit and clear that no, we did not have children out of wedlock. No, I didn't get knocked up. This was planned and on purpose, mostly. And that.
Well, don't mostly. Both of the children were planned. They were written down in pre-Cana.
Oh, I mean,
We were like,
well,
we want to
you
have
and
2
your
kids. We want to have
brood
yeah,
of children.
yeah. It was like I wanted to have 4. You wanted to have 3. I was like, all right, that probably means that we're gonna end up with 4.
We
because
we have contributed positively to the
yeah,
repopulation of
exactly.
of the state. But I do think that it was something that I worried about a lot. And so I think that even in our engagement in terms of us being Black parents, you know, that to me was so important in making decisions about, okay, what does this look like moving forward, right? And what does, maybe not dating, but how do I navigate these spaces knowing that you and I are going to be connected in this way? If for nothing else but appearances, right? And so, yes, we're going to be at their school play or a performance or a dance recital, and figuring out how to move in this space when you're freshly divorced is like, I think, one thing. But then also adding, oh, now my ex-partner has a new partner. And like, what feelings does that invoke? And I think it's really, I understand the difficulty that people have with understanding that because we're so caught up in the hurt. And I will be very honest. Michael and I have had lots of conversations about not just our divorce, but the perception that people have of when you get divorced and also that person's new partner. And so there was a lot of, at the time, like, oh, light-skinned, long-haired Latina, like, you don't came up in the world. And like, I remember feeling devastated, especially seeing or hearing comments like that from people that I thought were our friends and I thought cared about.
Oh, you want to play that game? You want to play
No.
that? I thought you were my friend.
But I
you
think
would
it matters,
prefer
right?
a world where I don't get to see my children. Or where-
I think that matters. And so, you know, when we got divorced and then when it became time of like, oh, there are new people in the picture, like not only are you navigating this relationship with your co-parent, but you're also navigating like this public reaction to.
I think that's something to double click on, right? And so we're going unscripted because you just started us unscripted to begin with. I think there are multiple things. One, I'm very conscious of the fact that like I don't care what anybody thinks about my partner, but that realization for me doesn't mean that there isn't an effect that ripples out for other people who care for me. So people always want you to do the thing that they want you to do. They don't want to do the thing that they actually do themselves.
Oh,
So I'll give an easy example without naming any names. There are plenty of people who we have that are mutual friends, acquaintances. I don't know if I could consider some of them friends anymore.
but
But
that's fine, right?
Yeah. Where, hey, what happened between you and Marge, if that happened to me, I would never speak to that person again.
Mm-hmm.
But Mike, you should be patient and you should be the big person and you should be given extra chances and you should be really, and how dare you? That's one.
Okay.
So wrap that up, put that on the side. Next thing is, I'm very black, unapologetically so. I know that anybody who's not from the Northeast or the West Coast that sees an interracial relationship between a black man and a Latina is like, oh, he must be an Uncle Tom because that's a white woman with a taco. So like, I have very deep awareness of even the way that people construct their perceptions of beauty. So like, I know for me, I've only been married twice, and please God, don't ever make me feel like I have to get married again. But in each case, there's no question, because of the things that are important to me, that the women that I've married and now the women that I've had children with are people that I find highly attractive.
Right.
I don't care what you think about them. I don't care what you think about their race. I don't care what you think about their skin tone. I don't care what you think about their level of blindness. Like Sarah Palin, I like a bitch that wears glasses. My new wife don't wear glasses. Like what is that to me to worry about? Nothing. I don't care what you think about my partner. I care that I find them attractive. I care that they care for me. I care that we have a meaningful relationship that helps us accomplish our collective goals in a partnership.
Yes.
And so the meaning that other people are making of that and the stories that people are telling themselves about whether, why, and how my partner has the attributes that they have, I can't concern myself with that. And I would be driven crazy because your first bounce back person was a white dude.
I will also admit, right, another moment of vulnerability. There was definitely a what is it? You could play that game kind of feel like, oh, like I could go get somebody who's not black too. Like that definitely, and I am not proud of it.
There are levels to this.
I am not proud of it.
So if you, and I think
his
that
eyes were blue. I like them.
Yeah, I think that's the. Oh, how do I say this without sounding like an asshole?
Go ahead.
Whatever.
Be yourself.
Like, that nigga's not on my level in any way, shape, form, galaxy, whatever. And not from a race standpoint, but like an education, like how you're going to show up together. Even the ideas about like how you treat yourself and how you treat your partner as a result of how you treat yourself. Mm-hmm. But those are things that as an observer, I could know. But because we're recently divorced, I can't say them to you in a way that will ever be received as intended. It just sounds like hate. So I'd be like, yes. Yeah. So you'd be like, oh, this is such and such. And I'd be like, really? Huh? So how did you?
So wait. I think that's an important transition. So the first part I think is, right, how are we feeling, and like, how do you think about what comes next after divorce, particularly when it comes to partnership? And then it's the like, okay, now that somebody is here, what does that look like to have that conversation with your co-parent, introduce that person to your co-parent, introduce that person to your kids. And at the time, the kids were pretty young.
Yeah, pretty young.
So we had a lot of conversations, a lot of, I think, difficult and sometimes contentious conversations around, okay, you might be dating this person and I may not have a say in what any of that looks like, which I think is to some degree fair. But if this person's going to be around my kids, it's a very different conversation.
Yeah, and I think that's the really important bridge. There's a difference between do what you want with your romantic life and who are the men and women that are going to be around our children especially in our absence. So I know that one of the things that was powerful and important to me when I was thinking about Donna as my wife was, this is somebody that I trust implicitly with my children. That like I would leave and know that everything's going to be taken care of. I don't have to really worry about that. No matter the nature of the two of you's relationship, and like, thank God that you guys get along great and you have conversations without me now. Blessing.
Now.
Everybody should work toward that. But one of the core pieces is I knew based on evidence and experience, and you know, I have the difference that I met Donna in undergrad. I've known Donna for over 20 years. So this isn't like a completely new, unknown quantity. Like, oh, how's she going to respond to this? Mm-hmm. Has she been gainfully employed? Like, what is the right? Like that. It's a very different setup where I'm like, yo, I trust this person with my children, but I'm still going to honor my children's mother in how I move around her. Mm-hmm. And so hey, I was thinking about this, or like, hey, I'd like to bring the kids here, or like, is it cool if Donna's around XYZ? Like, those are conversations that I'm willing to have, even if there's a sense of indignant self-righteousness that like I do what I want.
Yes, there
right?
was a lot
Yeah.
of I do what I want.
Yeah, because I mean, I think there's a like whatever I do what I want part to it, but there's also okay, as much as you would like to have a plan, there are a lot of things that you don't know that you have a problem with, or you don't know require additional conversations until you experience them.
Yeah.
And I think that that's part of, if there were like a golden nugget takeaway that I think should be a subtext for this entire episode, it is the fact that like you have to be patient and you have to be open-minded if you're going to get anywhere in a co-parenting relationship, but especially around your ability to speak into that other person's relationship.
Yes. And that it can't, and this is certainly easier said than done. And we recognize that for a lot of that, right? This didn't happen overnight. It took us years to get to the point where we are. But as we were working through it, one of the things that both in therapy and in conversations between you and I, it was, okay, I might still be hurt, sad, upset, angry, whatever. Those feelings are totally valid. You're allowed to feel them. Absolutely. But how does that contribute to this conversation? Does it contribute to this conversation? And I think when we're looking at co-parenting or parallel parenting or whatever, and we've talked about this before too, the idea that your ex is the problem and that you are not is a horrible foundation for fixing anything or for creating positive environments for your kids. Like everybody's ex is a narcissist and we're all somebody's ex, which means we're all narcissists. So like, let's move on from that.
Yeah. I mean, it's terrible framing, but it's also framing that limits possibility, right? If I operate under that framing, then even there, you have to end up with self-blame. Like if I'm like, I married a narcissist who can't possibly think rationally and who I can't work with, even though I decided to have children with them. Like that's really the rest of the sentence.
You're
Like
done.
people just stop at my ex is a narcissist. Like, oh, you mean the person you married and had children with, that you intertwined your life and your finances and your legal status with.
Mix your DNA together.
Yeah, that like you made people and now they walk about and they reference both of you for all kinds of aspects of their looks and their personality. Like that's ridiculous. And I think that there's a part of me that is, I know that most of the places that I have concern about are when people aren't taking their share of the responsibility for, one, how things went wrong, but two, what repair or what a carefully crafted environment for the children look like afterwards. Because it's blame, finger point. Oh, if only my ex was blah, 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 then we would be fine. Like, no, that's not how it works. And
like, you have nothing to do with it?
yeah,
Nothing?
like at
None?
all. Like you're just a struggling single parent out here in the wilderness who, get out of here. And I don't.
And to not hold that person's new partner responsible either, because I think there's also some transference, right? Like it's, oh, well, you have now decided to partner with this person that I have an issue with, so now I have an issue with you.
Yeah, but you're talking about it, so I think that's connected to your idea. So, you could be disappointed because we had a black marriage. You are first generation Haitian American. I am a blackity black family from Texas, American black, domestic black, organic American,
not imported black,
non-GMO black. But I know that there's a lot of psychic benefit to me to being married to a black woman.
Right.
There's some of it that you don't realize you're relinquishing until you're no longer in that situation. But I also recognize that even if my next partner was a black woman, maybe she's a little bit lighter skinned than you. Then it's right. That like whoever wants to figure something out to say, yeah, there's always going to be something that people who desire to speak into things are going to be able to say. So like, I'm much less worried about that. I'm much more worried about, all right, who am I on the other side of this? And I think the question that I probably didn't ask myself that in hindsight, I would spend a little bit more time on is like, who am I if I'm not married?
Oh.
right? Because
Yeah.
so much of, I mean, we do identity development frameworks in higher education all the time. And so when I think about like identity fidelity for me, husband was first, then father, because father came after husband. When we're getting divorced and the foundation of my entire identity is now under threat, I don't know who I am anymore. Like, I really don't, like, who am I if I'm not Marjorie's husband? I'm still Maximilian and Makari's dad, but they didn't just magically, the stork didn't drop them off.
Right.
And there's so many things that they need from their mother that if I'm going to be the type of father that I wish to be, and we've spoken about this on previous episodes, but it was always important to me to be kind, caring, and loving to the mother of my children, no matter what our relationship status was, because I knew that was important because I did not have that as a model growing up.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
My mother is a single mother. She worked really hard. She busted her ass to make us feel like we were middle class while she's working multiple jobs as a registered nurse. But the way she spoke about my father was so toxic and so mean and so inconsistent with who I found him to be when I met him that I promised myself I would never do that. No matter how bad you hurt me, I was never going to be like, oh, this blah, blah, beep, 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 beep.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that around the kids. I'm not going to do that in the way that I interact. And so even taking the time to realize that, like, hey, that perspective might actually be the foundation for, like, maybe you don't want to get divorced.
Oh.
Like, maybe you should take a little bit more time
Yeah.
and think about, like, all right, is this a blip? Is this something that you can get over? Is this something that it makes sense to pay attention to? Because if your long-term goal is to have a loving relationship where both parents are available to love, care for, and support the children that you've created for the rest of their life, what is the best format of a relationship in which to do that?
Yeah. It's interesting because I think there are two parts of that stand out to me. So one is the thinking about the models that we have in our lives around relationship and marriage and what that's supposed to look like. And, my parents are like about to get to 50. And so
50 years married?
Yeah.
They didn't do that already?
I thought it was 40. How old am I?
I don't remember.
I don't think they're 50.
I know you're 40 plus because you got gray hairs underneath you.
I think this is going to be 50 coming up. This is terrible. I should know this. It's a little awkward.
But
the point is
your
they've
parents
been
have
together for a very long time.
Your parents have been together for a long time.
And so similarly, the idea
They waited 9 years of marriage to have you?
that doesn't.
Because you're like 41, 42, 43. Wait, are you 43 yet?
No, I'll be.
You 42 in this? Whatever.
I don't know how old I am.
Yeah. I know that I'm 43 still.
I will be 42 this year.
Okay. Jackie Robinson.
Yes.
Okay.
I think. Okay, yeah. But I think the point being that, for me it was, like that's it. When you're married, and like you figure the rest out. And so when we got divorced, part of my thinking around dating then, and it's very different now, was I need to get married again because I need to have a traditional family unit, right? Like there's somebody who needs to step in to fill in the role of not dad, because obviously you were there, but at least stepdad. And I realized that in the partners that I dated since we've been divorced, and again, initially it was, I need somebody who can fill in the spot. I need somebody who can take this place, as opposed to like looking for somebody who's a good fit for me, and then the rest sort of
figuring itself out.
You figure itself out. And so I feel like that transition from, figuring out who you are post-divorce, figuring out your relationship with your co-parent is so important before you can even really get to like a healthy, functional place to be like, okay, now I'm ready to date. And then once you're there, like, okay, you can be safely in the streets.
Yeah. And I don't, Hove did that, so you ain't got to go through that. I don't think I did that. I know that I wasn't healed before I was looking to move on. I know that I wasn't fully aware of the type of co-parenting relationship I wanted to have and what kind of interpersonal interactions would facilitate that type of relationship before I moved on. I know that for me, it was, I'm divorced, I'm hurt, but I know that I'm highly desirable. And so let's see what these streets talking about.
Would you say you were in the streets, Michael?
I wouldn't say I was like fully in the streets, but you know what I mean?
Like the door was open.
I mean, I was like,
You're at least on the porch.
I roll with baddies to begin with. Like they're not far away from me, B. Like it's not.
Yo.
Like, what? I don't know what to tell y'all. Like it is what it is. Like check my record. Check the people I be around. Check like. It's not a. I'm not like. Hey, look! I'm not getting binoculars. Like, where are the baddies?
Or you're looking through the window, like
yeah, like there's no Kermit like hand against the frosty window. Like, yo,
so
I know
right.
exactly where the streets are. I know where my young niggas is at. Like, we can go figure this out, right? No. But I also think that that's an important distinction because I think you as an individual have to think about what partnership means to you.
especially when you're co-parenting, though, right? It's not just
Especially when
you.
you're co-parenting, but I think it's even before that. So like listening to you talk about your perception of marriage, your perception of marriage is in part, or at least it was in part influenced by what you saw your parents do.
Yes.
Mine is similar. My mom took great care of us. She was never my mother never married my father.
Mm-hmm.
I knew that I wanted to be married, having kids because I didn't want to do that.
Right.
Like, I was like,
yes.
yeah,
that
like,
part.
I don't like, ooh, this doesn't look like it's a good idea. It doesn't look like a good idea fiscally. It doesn't look like a good idea in terms of division of responsibilities.
Your mental health, your sanity,
it just doesn't
your
look like a good
pockets.
idea. And hey, I don't have a model of what this looks like healthy, but I have a model of what it looks like.
I know what I
when
don't
it
want.
exactly when it doesn't exist. And so I'm gonna go the opposite way of that. And even in repartnering,
Uh-huh.
I think that if I had to put, so we were doing like a series in earlier podcasts. So those of you who wish to go through the catalog, we invite you. But we're talking a lot about like you being in the streets and like what you're looking for, like what are kind of the like checklist
yes.
things.
The
And
list.
so for me, I recognize that. I'm just gonna say it. Like my list is my list. You and Donna are very similar. Like y'all look different, but like the things that are most valuable and important to me, with like maybe a tiny minor exception on each side where it's like, oh, Donna really does this thing that you didn't do that I like, and like, oh, there's this thing that Marjorie does that like I really wish you would just add into your fucking repertoire and it would be good money. Like there's those little pieces of that, but for the most part, like somebody who's ambitious, somebody who has a career, somebody who's intelligent, somebody who I can spend time with, like building a life together, somebody who I trust with everything that I own and that I protect and that I love, somebody that my mom, even though my mom's gonna talk shit no matter what, somebody that my mom cares for and like believes in for me. Like these are all things that matter to me and that were always gonna influence things. And I couldn't, when you get burned or you get hurt by somebody, it can blind you to the fact that like, all right, this person hurt me, but like they're still,
Yeah, they're still checking the boxes. Yeah.
yeah. And I think that helps you too in your frame if you're like, all right, this person checked all my boxes. Like, I would like to have all these boxes checked again. Maybe not by this person, but I have to be comfortable with the fact that who I end up with, if I'm happy, is going to look in some ways very similar to.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, dating is so interesting. And I think especially, well, at least for me, like dating now. And it's funny, dating now versus.
So wait. When you say dating now, what are you doing? Are you saying like dating 40 plus? Are you saying dating after divorce? Like be more specific.
Yes. So I think it's a combination of all those things. So dating as a divorcee and being in my 40s.
Is that the word? Divorcee?
Yeah.
Oh, it's got like a little.
It's
It's like the
French.
Dorimé, like the little thing over the E.
Right. So being 40 plus, having an existing and positive co-parenting relationship, being divorced, like all of those things contribute to experiences that contribute to helping me figure out and define who I am and who I want to be. But it also means the things that I'm looking for in partnership are very, very different. Like, I don't need to get married again. I'm not going to say never because, like, anything can happen. I've learned that lesson. But I don't need to get married because my frame around marriage was you get married, you have kids, you build a life, you do all of these things. And I'm already doing those things or they're done. Like, I'm not having any more kids. I have a life. I have a career. I have a business. I have consulted. I have a family. I have friends. I have activities, I have things that I like to do. And I like to do things by myself. So this is a bonus. This is a value add. This is not I don't need to get married. I don't need, like, those things don't feel like a need.
Well,
and I
hold
feel
on.
like it means I can take my time.
Because I feel like what am I struggling with right now? All that sounds really good.
Yes.
But I think that that's because you've developed a different idea about what you need from a relationship post-marriage.
Yes.
I think that the social structure of interpersonal relationships is such that the things that I really want as a man,
hmm
I would not be able to continue to get without being remarried in the ways that I would like them.
Oh, that's interesting.
So if I want partnership around my children, if I want consistent access to sex, if I want an opportunity to share and build a life and travel with and connect with somebody without it being fiscally irresponsible, like I don't want to have to buy a plane ticket to see you. I don't want to feel like, oh, I would like this person to be around, or I'd like somebody to be comfortable and close to me.
But
I gotta travel, or
I think that's a separate.
But proximity is part of it, right?
Proximity is part of it, but also I recognize that, like, I want to take us being in Colombia out of the equation, because I think that,
If you were in a city, it would be different.
yeah, like, it's not like all of those things. You could get all of those things if we lived not in if we lived in St. Louis, you can get all of those things.
But you feel like, so how much of your perception of marriage is through the lens of, I live in Colombia, so I have to kind of settle in some ways?
Oh, no, because I think the other part of it too is, and I think this is maybe the hard part, because I'm dating and it's after, or it's following divorce, but also positive co-parenting. Like, co-parenting, my, family of 6, like, that is a structure that I'm not willing to compromise on.
Mhm.
So it does a lot to, I think, help me narrow down the field, because first of all, men are petty, and many are
don't be
so
generalizing.
insecure.
Don't generalize to men, but
Many of the men that I have dated personally.
Okay, there you go. Because there's women, you could say very many.
But I think those things apply across the board, right? That people, especially when
people are petty.
People are petty.
People are insecure.
And
people don't trust that you could have a relationship with
Yes.
somebody that you've had sex with numerous times before and that
Yes.
you have children with
Yes.
without it being sexual.
Yes. And so that's an issue that we would face anywhere. So I don't feel like location is, in terms of this conversation, is the limiter. I do think that because we're already connected in this way, like, I don't need somebody who, like, is gonna, I don't know, go to soccer games. Like, I already have we already have a crew, right? Like, I don't need somebody to fill in these particular roles. Would it be nice to have another adult drive kids around and do stuff? Absolutely. Like,
Yeah.
but, like, that's not what my relationship's for. It's not to find an Uber driver for the kids. Like, that's not a priority to me in my relationship, or what I look for in a relationship, because I have it already. I have 2 co-parents. Like, I don't need it for that. So that I think, like, dating looks different, because the things that are priority in my dating relationship, I'm not looking for somebody to fill all of these boxes, right? I'm not looking for someone who's gonna.
Maybe that's the difference. So I think listening to you, I think that even if I had taken the time to fully heal when we were getting divorced,
Mhm.
that I would still end up married again. Because what I offer in terms of care, comfort, and confidence to a woman, they're going to want to be around all the time.
in a
And
marriage.
they're going to get suspicious if I'm not willing to commit to it. And they're going to want to start restricting things that I want. And so if I'm either you got
restricting things that you want.
So if I've been in the, whatever. I've been in the, I got a team. Like, okay, there's 5, 6 shorties that I'm working with. And depending on which one I like the most or which one I have the most access to, that's who's going to get my time and attention.
Right.
As a father, because my children are in extracurriculars and they're in, like, I can't juggle bitches, man. Like that's not like I don't have time for that. I don't have time for it. Yeah, like I don't have time for like, yo, now you mad at me. Like I think all the time about like dumb shit. So whatever. When you're juggling and you know you're juggling, you have to feel guilty even when you didn't do something wrong. So like an example would be, yo, I fell asleep playing PlayStation and you done blew up my phone. My phone died. I fell asleep playing PlayStation. Now I wake up, I'm like, oh shit, my phone died. Plug that bitch in. Now there's 10 missed calls and 3 fuck you texts, and now they've already started posting like this nigga didn't know what he had memes on Instagram because they're mad because I didn't respond immediately because they think they're supposed to have that kind of access to me.
Okay.
Where like, yo, like really, I'm just an old nigga. I passed out, B.
I'm
Like,
tired.
Yeah, like
I was
I'm not
adulting all day.
Yeah, or the idea that like I could never be in a situation where I had to juggle romantic interests and things that I feel like I need to do for my children.
And you know, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, so like if I need to, hey, we were supposed to go on this date, but like, yo, my kid got sick. I gotta like, oh, seem like your kid getting sick a lot. Like, yo,
They do get sick a lot. Like,
they
what are you
do,
doing?
and their mama was sickly. You know what I mean? Like she's anemic and stuff, and I, genetic mixing is what it is. Like I come from a little bit hardier stock. We were slaves and
The
sharecroppers.
organic
But
brand.
yeah, but like I think that's a part of it where I don't want to have to explain myself.
Right.
And the easiest way to not have to explain yourself is one, transparency. So I've been a person who, when I'm dating multiple people, I make it very clear. Like, yo, so I'm dating multiple people. Like I'm happy to. I mean, when we started kicking it,
Yeah.
it's like you're kicking it with some people, I'm kicking it with some people, and when things cross over and things make sense, cool. And like if not, cool. I'm good with that. But I also know that there's a certain age and there's a certain type of woman that I desire who is not going to be willing to continue to make that trade if they don't have similar value system.
Okay.
I don't know too many women that would, one, see themselves as comfortable with anything that felt like a polyamorous type of situation, or two, who don't want whoever their person is, like however you construct the idea of their person, whether that's your primary partner in a sea of multiple partners, or it's the person that like you show up to events with, or you actually go on dates and you get seen in public with. I don't have a whole lot of experience with women who desire that type of relationship with me, who are going to not reach a reasonable limit of trust, care, and desire to continue to be in the relationship if they don't feel like they're a priority.
So now I feel there's so many things here that I feel like this is why we need multiple episodes to talk through this topic. And we will definitely come back to, I think your comment is really interesting about polyamory and how we think about prioritization in relationships.
Yeah, niggas think I'm Neo, and I was like, I wish.
Oh, I was gonna
like
say
that,
no, the Neo story. I think it's interesting because and on the other side, I've seen a lot of commentary about, these women couldn't possibly value themselves, or what's wrong with them, or like lots of negative judgment, and I'm like, but if they're happy and their needs are met and shit is taken care of.
But I also feel like that's so unrealistic because marriage is a really high bar that people aren't being honest about.
And that there's so many people in unhappy marriages. So many people. So like, let's stop pretending. Like, let's stop pretending that just because you're married, your life is better.
Your life isn't necessarily better for your marriage. You have to work hard to make your marriage align with the life that you want to live. But I would also add that there's a lot of people who forget who they were before they got married. Like, yo, I know you. You were dating 6 niggas. You were kicking it here. Like, I saw you leaving the spot and you went directly over to this spot. And same thing for guys.
Yes.
Like, and I have no illusion that you could have different partners who make you happy in different ways.
Yeah.
And I think that the traditional idea about marriage in Western society, and especially in the United States, asks you to forget who you are. And it demands monogamy when monogamy is unnatural. You weren't dating one person. You were kicking it. And it's like, hey, this is the one that I go to basketball games with. This is the one that comes over to watch Monday Night Football. This is the one that if I happen to be in this city, I know that I'm going to hit up. And each one of those people can make you happy in their own respective way. And it doesn't detract from what you're doing for the other people as long as expectations are managed appropriately. Yeah. I think that the longer that you're in relationship with somebody, the higher the bar of expectation comes, or the longer the silence around changing expectations is allowed to fester. And that's when you get in trouble.
So I think in the context of co-parenting, what's really important about this is that, and I feel like we come back to this all the time, right? Is the communication piece. And so, I know when I think about dating and when I think about, those criteria that we had talked about, and we'll link to those episodes. Um, things like, can I have an intellectual discussion with this person? Like, do they have critical thinking skills? Can they adult, right? Steady employment. Can they take care of themselves? Because I don't want to be anybody's mama. Like, I have no interest
You're
in that.
already two people's mama.
You're right. Like, I don't want to be somebody else's caretaker. I want somebody
That's,
to be in a romantic relationship with.
Yeah.
And so I think that, like, communicating those things, but also, and I am a parent and I am actively co-parenting with somebody else. And yes, we spend time together. And yes, we go on vacations together. And yes, we travel on work conference together because it makes sense for the life that we have. And we are aligned in these ways that contribute to my ultimate goals, which are my kids taken care of? Absolutely. Are they fed? Are they happy? Do we have the opportunity to give them experiences, right? And like all of those things are easier to do when we do them together. And so like I really want to encourage people to try and think about what the positive could look like, what the alternative could look like, even if it's outside of something that you've seen or experienced. And I hope that in this way, Michael and I can be not a perfect model because no one's perfect.
Oh, I'm not perfect at all. But I know that I have to rely a great deal on the fact that you and my wife both have good sense. And in that way, I'm the bum.
So, but when you say good,
Well, obviously self-congratulatory, but joking. But it's that I take a great deal of pride in the fact that, and I don't know that I've ever articulated it explicitly like this, but this conversation is helping me think about it. I've only had women that have been my wives and the parents of my children. One, all three of my children were born in wedlock. Whether that actually matters or not, I don't think so. I think that there are a whole lot of like Christian frameworks that, people don't necessarily have to subscribe to, but there was an intentional choice to be partnered and then an intentional choice to have children in all situations. But the recognition of the importance of being a good father and the fact that to me, my definition of a good father extends to the way that I care for my children's mothers. You get that. And Donna gets that. If you didn't, I would have never been partnered with you and I would have never had kids with you.
yeah, I think that that's really important because I think so many conversations around parenting and co-parenting. And again, if you look at the co-parenting literature out there, a lot of it is lacking in so many ways. And part of it is this idea that, well, you can just dismiss the other person, right? Like, oh, well, you don't have to pay attention to them or you don't have to. And
As if your kids don't see that.
right. And while it's possible, right, that is a choice that you can make.
And I think I will make exceptions for the rare time where there is mental illness or there's real toxicity. that
Danger,
you have
right?
to
Like
keep
where
your child
safety
away
is an
from.
issue. Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. Right. We recognize that everybody is not in the same boat. But like y'all, it doesn't have to be this either.
Yeah, you just don't like them.
Which is
And so like instead of like you don't like him or her, and instead of just being like, man, I don't like this person, but I did make some commitments, which is like we brought life into this world together, and I got to figure out how to make things work for that life. I don't like you is not a reason to compromise your co-parent's relationship with each other or with your children.
that part, right? Like we do it for our kids. And if we are and I appreciate your frame in saying that, yeah, to be a good father means continuing to be a good co-parent partner. Maybe partnership means something different to the person that I made kids with. And I think, what really excites me? When I go on dates or I meet people and they have positive co-parenting relationships, turn on. Like, yes, because it says so much about who you are, but also how you treat other people, right? If I'm meeting you and you're like, oh, that, B is da-da-da, and oh, she didn't this and this and this, and oh, I can't, and it's like, everything's, again, the other person.
But you could also expect that to be how they talk about you if it doesn't work out.
I absolutely. And so I think that, while being in the streets can be fun and it's exciting and like there are all of these new things that come with it, it's still really important to remember your foundation and the foundation of co-parenting. And while it is messy and imperfect and we know that it takes work and time, we just hope that this can be encouraging to folks to think about, what are positive alternatives? And maybe your co-parent isn't ever going to actually be your best friend. That's totally okay, right?
You can't.
I know you're going to do
It's
that.
levels, yeah. I mean,
know you're gonna do that.
It is what it is. Yeah, man. Some of us are better decision makers than others.
But I think it could be better, right?
Oh,
Like,
and
ultimately, like, it can be better.
Yeah, and I think that's the, one other like little take home nugget for me would be like there's a very important distinction between co-parenting and coexisting.
Yeah.
Like you don't want to just coexist. That's not what's best for you. That's not what's best for your children. And also you're robbing yourself of a lot of the structural things that are really valuable and important. Just having another adult warm body who has a driver's license is a huge addition to a parenting setup. And you don't really realize it. Like I had no idea how much my mom was struggling being the mother of 3 boys.
Oh, I do. It's crazy. I don't know how she did it.
Yeah, but 3 boys who play different sports, who have different needs, who need you to show up for them at school in different ways. I was the goody two-shoes straight A student. My brother Charles he's in the principal's office every other day. And my youngest brother, Byron, is on the spectrum. And so, like, even the idea that, like, all right, this one needs a way to figure out how to get his regalia for National Honor Society. This one needs a IEP and 504 assessment meeting. This one needs to be picked up because he got in another fight, right? And, like, putting that on one parent, that's a lot of weight.
For one person.
Yeah, that's a lot of weight. Like, co-parenting and, like, really good parenting in general, but co-parenting in particular requires collaboration.
Yeah. Well, thanks for listening to another episode of the Parents and Professors podcast. We hope that you enjoyed this conversation. We're all navigating this journey called life together. Like I mentioned before, this is part 1. Obviously, there's a lot for us to unpack when it comes to divorce and dating and co-parenting and managing relationships. So we hope you'll join us for the next one.
Yeah, for sure. And be patient with yourself. Remember, you deserve joy. And whatever your sources of joy are, be patient with yourself while you're figuring it out. And also, like, give yourself credit. You're probably doing a lot better than you think. It takes time, it takes energy, it takes effort to be in a place where your actions really align with your values. But you have to give yourself that patience. And we're here. We're here to help.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we struggled through it. We struggled productively.
Hope did that, so you got to go through
Yeah,
that.
exactly. So, if any part of this conversation hits home, please share it with somebody you know who's navigating love after loss, life after divorce.
Sounds like love after lockup.
Yeah, it could be, yo. Like, I
For
feel
some
like
of
I did a
y'all,
bit.
yeah, it might be love after lockup.
I mean, what? We were married almost 10 years. And you're like, yo, I just did 10 in the Bing. I did 10 up north. But also, tell us what surprised you. Tell us what you're interested in. Tell us what you want to hear more of on the next episode of the Parents and Professors podcast. And, I'll share too. I knew that there was no way we were going to be able to capture everything that we want to talk about.
We'll talk to y'all on the next one.
Exactly. So we're going to have to come back with part 2 because I still got some bars that I need to get off. We'll see y'all next time on the Parents and Professors podcast.
Peace.
Peace. If this conversation resonated with you, do us a huge, huge, huge favor. Like the episode, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and follow us on all our socials. I actually be going crazy on Instagram, so that's the best one.
And please feel free to drop a comment below. Tell us what you liked, what you hated, where you'd like us to dig deeper, or even if you think we missed something. We're always learning and growing, and we want to make sure that we're creating content that resonates with viewers like you.
And most importantly, and this is a huge one, if you know somebody who could benefit from hearing the conversations that we're having on this episode, please share. Sharing is caring. We're doing this for the love and to build a community because it matters.
And at the end of the day, that's the most important part, creating spaces where we can have real, honest conversations about the things that matter to you: education, parenting, relationships, and everything in between.
So thanks for being part of our community. Go check out the catalog of other episodes if you haven't. And we look forward to seeing you next time on the Parents and Professors podcast.